Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be doing another video about jobs. I'm sorry if it sounds a little bit loud in here. I have the air on and it's right next to where I'm filming. The reason why I have to film right here is because this is where the light is. So I'm sorry if it's hard to hear, but today I am going to be doing a video about Olive Garden. Just gonna be about the interviewing process. For the next video, I'll go ahead and do a video about if you want to know about orientation or what it's like to work there. I've been working at Olive Garden for almost 2 years now, so I figured who better than to give you a video about what you need to know for the interview. And in addition to that, the next videos that I can do about what it's like to work there, the orientation, everything that you need to know. So sorry if I look a little bit crazy. It is the end of the day. I just got off work at my other job, so here I am. Also, I have a pimple on my nose. I went to work at, like, every time I work at Olive, I get pimples. So I think it's just because I'm touching like food and then I end up touching my face. But anyways, so there's 3 interviews. I only had to do 2. I interviewed with the hiring manager and then the GM. So basically, when I got hired there, my only job experience was working at McDonald's. The number one thing that you want to do is make sure you bring an updated resume, make sure it looks nice, clean, and also dress like you want the job. So don't come in wearing jeans, casual clothing, do business casual. I wore slacks, a tank top, cardigan, and flats. You don't have to like wear a full-on like suit, but like look nice, like look like you tried, like you want the job. So yeah, come prepared. Like, make sure you do your research, know what you need to know about this job. If you're here watching my video, that means you're doing your research, so props to you. But make sure you know like you're prepared for questions that are going to be related to serving. There's going to be customer service orientated, food orientated, and yeah, and about you. So some of the things they asked me was, you know, the typical tell me about yourself. When they say tell me about yourself, don't say like your hobbies. Say like either what you currently do right now, like what job you're doing, or school activities you take part in that relate to it. Say things that relate to the job. Don't say anything like, oh, I love to swim, you know, because they don't really care. You know, they asked me like what I do at my job, so my job description, if you haven't already explained that. They're gonna ask you why you want to work there, and say something positive, uplifting. I said for Olive Garden, like I noticed how everybody works as a team here, and you know the environment's really positive, so that's why I want to work there. Like I noticed everybody working together. Basically, they'll ask you a question that relates to teamwork. So like, oh, tell me about a time where you had to like work in a team, pretty much. You know, they're gonna ask you if your manager could describe you, what would they say? Like, what's a word they would use to describe you? If your coworkers were to describe you, what's a word they would use to describe you? If you, like, what are 3 words to describe you, or what is a word to describe you? They'll ask you, like, personally, how you feel about yourself, too. They'll ask you what your weakness is, of course. You could always say, like, you know, one of those things that is like a weakness that's a strength, like, oh, you're a people pleaser or something. I think that's what I said. But you could always do your own thing, you know. You could be honest and say something that you're genuinely working on that relates to the job. You know, like make sure like what you say relates to the job that you're after. Since I was coming from food, I worked at McDonald's. They asked me what is the most popular thing on the menu, which I said was a Big Mac, and they asked me to tell them what's inside the Big Mac, like to describe it. They also asked me what's my favorite restaurant, what's my favorite food or like dish from that restaurant and to describe it to them. So they want to know that you're able to talk about food, you're able to describe it, like make people want it, you know what I mean? So like at Olive Garden, one of the top things that they do is suggest, inform, endorse, SIE. So that's like you're suggesting something, you're informing them what it is, and then you're endorsing it, like, oh, I really love it, it's my favorite, or stuff like that. Number one, they're really sales orientated. Two, it's like about guest satisfaction. They're gonna ask you stuff like that. They're gonna ask you if you think you do well in a high like stress environment, pretty much. Like it's really fast paced working there because it's endless soup, salad, and breadsticks. So you're gonna have to keep up with that along with everything else that you have to do there. So they're gonna ask you stuff like that. They're gonna ask about your schedule. They're gonna ask you about a time where you had to deal with an angry customer. Of course, that's like every customer service oriented job. They ask you that question. Always leave it on a positive note. Never say that it ended badly. So they were angry, whatever, right? You responded calmly and listened to what they were saying, and then you solved the problem, and then the customer or guest left satisfied. So you always want to talk about leaving the customer or whatever satisfied. That's like your main thing. You don't want to ever and they're gonna say talk about a time where you had a confrontation with a coworker. How did you deal with it? Again, like I said, when you talk about these situations, you talk about how you were like the person who initiated like the problem solving, like resolving the issue. You're the one who initiated resolving it. You came up to them and you talked it out. And then what happened is you solved it and everything's better. Like everything has to be left on a positive note. You want to be like a problem solver. You don't want it to be like, oh, you have issues but you don't know how to solve it. They want you to be a problem solver. Yeah, so just remember, it's going to be mainly about food, customer service. I think those were all the questions. They did leave me alone for a good while during the interview process. I had both my interviews on the same day. I had to wait for the GM to come interview me, and pretty much they left me alone for like a good half hour. When they leave you alone, please do not pull out your phone. Like, they need to be able to know that you can be patient and not be on your phone. So don't pull out your phone when you're in that situation. Leave your phone alone. Just sit there and just wait patiently. And during that time, you can just be thinking about like what you can say to make yourself look better. Yeah, they left me alone during that time. The GM came over and he basically asked me the same questions. I got hired on the spot that day. They asked me to come in like literally the following like 2 days, or within the next 2 days, for orientation. So it didn't give me very much time, but that's okay. Yeah, so those are pretty much the questions. If they ask you if you have any questions, make sure you ask a question. Like, what is something that your most successful server does that helps them with this job, or something like that? You get what I mean? Like, what makes someone in this position successful? Like, what are some good traits to have, or what are some good things to do? Just make sure that you're asking the questions. Better to ask questions than to not ask any questions at all. You can ask them, is there anything that's making you feel hesitant about hiring me at this point? If you ask that, they'll probably tell you either no, or they'll say like, yes, you said this and that, and it made me like, and then you have the chance to better explain whatever question that you didn't answer correctly, or you know what I mean. Also, don't forget, it's okay to ask for clarification. There's nothing wrong with that. If you don't understand something, ask for it to be clarified. It only betters your chances of answering the question correctly. That's everything. If you have any more questions, please leave them down below in the comments. If you like this video, please hit the like button. I would really appreciate that. If you would like to see the follow-up video about orientation and what it's like to work there, please either like this video or comment down below that you would like to see it. I'll be posting that within the next week, I believe. And don't forget to hit the subscribe buttons for future videos. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.